Rico in a year. They're up 50%. You have.
They don't have recall.
They don't have recall statutes. And if they did have a recall statute, it wouldn't be used. They love this guy. And so we're going to have to make sure that as we speak to Hispanic voters, that we say we're not anti-immigrant. We are pro-immigrant. We are the party that loves people coming into this country as immigrants, bring skill and knowledge and culture and values. We welcome legal immigration into our country. We're going to stop illegal immigration. But we love legal immigration, and we are the party of opportunity. If people believe they want to be in America for a check, they want more benefits from government, vote for the other guy. If they come to America because they want a bright future for themselves and their families with good jobs and rising wages and bright prospects and freedom, vote for us. That's what we represent.
Back up the gentleman that has a small business. A Kaufman Foundation report came out in 2010 and it said a 35-year detailed study, large corporations don't have jobs. They come from startup companies and entrepreneurs. And the other thing that was driving me crazy because it affected my kids, my grandkids, and my great-grandkids, working, paying more payroll tax than was needed to take care of us old-timers. As a result of that, the law is it had to be spent. And when it was spent, the intergovernmental debt account rose, and it continued to rise. The worst example was a trustee's report from 2003, where they were projecting overcharging for 34 consecutive years. Not only ended up being 26, but that Bill Clinton putting people in the home that didn't have a job, and that backfired on the economy. In that report, I looked at $2.156 trillion that were coming in from workers and entrepreneurial heads in payroll taxes. The buildup of interest on that was $3.373 trillion. This is a 2003 report. I took Asheville University, by the way. And also, the $2.156 trillion was not there. So it had an adverse effect on our country of $7.685 trillion. Now, even Paul Ryan in 1999, his first year in the House, voted with 100% of the Republicans to not let that continue, to get all this extra money from hardworking middle class and lower income people. 95% of the Democrats in your House went with you, and went to the Senate, and 55 senators voted with you, and 45 senators voted against it, every single Democrat. And I've made a lot of hay going to Feingold's meetings and also talking to Herb Cole. I spent 2.5 hours getting a fellow on retirement or aging committee to understand all this. They want to meet with me. So again, now we're at the reverse. The Democrats would not allow any reduction in payroll tax, even though they were spending on other things. Now they're more than happy to reduce the payroll tax, and up goes the public debt. So they're out to destroy this country. No ifs, no ands, no buts. The trustees report going from 2009 to 2010, that's the first time we went into debt. The hospital insurance costs went down from $330 trillion. We got rid of 75 years.
I've actually read that.
Hospital insurance. 75 years, and they do build in some inflation. And the next year, when it came out on my birthday, August 5th, 4 months late, Obama and his group that are called VPs, I won't use the word, it was reduced by $215 trillion in hospital insurance. I wrote on the top, seniors just go home and die.
I'll tell you, you better watch out for your job.
Yeah,
this guy. You got the numbers to prove it. Yeah. Yeah, let me say, the Democrats want to spend money, and they don't want to lower taxes. Did you hear Vice President Biden yesterday? He's out saying we need a new global tax. I don't know who he's planning on taxing with this, but I know he is the gift that keeps on giving. About that. I mean, more taxes, and I can also say that there's no question in my mind that you're right with regards to Obamacare and their plan. on health care for seniors. There are two things, at least two things in Obamacare you should make sure that your friends know about. And that is, there's only one president in the history of this country that has cut Medicare by $500 billion, and that's President Obama. You'll see signs during the campaign, Republicans, keep your hands off my Medicare. Hey guys, go back and meet your own president. That it is the president that went after Medicare, and he went after, took $500 billion, and did not do it to make it fiscally solvent. He did it to try and pay for Obamacare. And then something else in Obamacare, and there's no question about this in my view, and that is that they're looking to a point where ultimately they will be able to tell seniors and everybody else, not just what kind of insurance we have to have, but what kind of treatment we can have. They're changing the way we get health care in this country. I want to restore to Americans the right to choose their own health insurance, their own providers, and the kind of treatment that they desire to have. That's my own view, and it's time for us to get rid of Obamacare.
That's right. So, one of the favorite things I love to do in my job is to actually meet with the actuaries. That just shows you how weird I am, but after all, I do work in Washington, D.C. So, I know those actually, I've read those reports a million times. What you're saying is true. That particular bill, you ever heard of a guy named Tom Daschle? He's the one who staged the filibuster to prevent that from happening. Back in 1968, they passed this Unified Budget Act that LBJ passed, which allowed the Social Security Trust Fund to be sort of robbed by the general fund, and that happened, and Republicans and Democrats did it for a long, long time. Now the flow of funds is reversed. Now, Social Security is in deficit, so we're going back and redeeming those IOUs. So that's the problem we have with Social Security. On Medicare, that particular actuary, the CMS actuary, says the Medicare Trust Fund, Hospital Trust Fund goes bankrupt in 2024. CBO is telling us in 2021. The point is, Medicare is going bankrupt. And the sooner we work to fix the program, the more we can guarantee it's there for people who've already retired and organized their lives around the program. My mom is on Medicare. She's been on Medicare for 11 years. You think she's going to like her son tampering with her Medicare? The point I would make is, Obamacare already ended Medicare as we know it. Obamacare took, like Governor Romney said, took $500 billion out to spend on other programs, Obamacare, but it also puts these 15 bureaucrats in charge of Obamacare. A board of 15 unelected, unaccountable bureaucrats are now in charge of cutting and price controlling Medicare in ways that will lead to denied care for current seniors. You know what we did when we repealed Obamacare, like we voted just last Thursday, like the governor's promising? We get rid of that board because we get rid of the rate on Medicare as well. We've got to fix this program so that the people who organize their lives around it can count on it. And the way to do that is you must reform it for the younger generation, because number one, it's going bankrupt for our generation. But number two, if you want to keep the commitment to the current generation, you must reform it to those of us who are younger. And there's a bipartisan solution that is there, that we've identified, to save and strengthen Medicare with making no changes for people in or near retirement, and reforming it for those of us who are younger so it works like the system that we have in Congress. And those are the things we think we can do, which are common sense ideas that have had a history of bipartisan support. The problem we have right now, though, is the president and the people running the Senate right now are not part of this solution. They're part of running negative ads. They're part of actually rating the program. They're part of putting 15 bureaucrats in charge of it so that they run your health care instead of 50 million seniors empowered to make choices for themselves. And that's one of the big differences in this election. Who do you want in charge? You or 15 bureaucrats that are presidential appointees with 6-year terms that you never ever meet or never will meet? That's a big difference in this election that ripples through all these issues, whether it's Medicare, Social Security, health care, and on. And that's the big choice we have in front of us.
Thank you, Congressman. Thank you. Your short answers, your short questions, and our long answers, we've taken up the time we promised. But I want to tell you this: I'm not someone who's cynical, not someone who's pessimistic. We have enough of that in Washington. I'm optimistic about the country. If you do what I've had the chance to do, and meet the people who are not in the news, the Americans that are living day-to-day lives of normalcy, you will find that we are a hard-working, patriotic people. We love this country. I love this country. I love America. I love the principles upon which it was I love its prospects and its future. We've taken a detour It is not our destiny. I've always felt as an American that we stand a little taller, walk a little straighter, because we have a gift no one else in the world has. We're Americans. We recognize that this is the greatest nation in the history of the earth. No nation has done as much as this country to free other people from tyranny and from poverty. This is an extraordinary land. I love the nation's hymns. America the Beautiful. There's a verse in there that says, "Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years." The patriots, the founders, when they wrote those words in the Declaration of Independence, in my view, were seeing beyond the years. They were not just writing for their time, but for our time as well. They wrote that the Creator gave us our rights, not the state, the Creator. And among those rights were life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. We are free in this nation to pursue happiness as we see it, to pursue our course in life. We have the freedom to worship as we choose, the freedom to select people who we think can represent us well in government. I'm convinced that this is a time to return to those principles. And if we do, we will reignite our economy, put people back to work, create a bright and prosperous future for our children, solve the problems we have. Americans, when told the truth by their leaders, and if those leaders will live with integrity, and if the leaders will also call on the greatness of the American people and their sacrifice, we will rise as a people and do what's necessary. We always have. We always will. That sense of pride of being an American, the conviction that everyone in the world knows the greatness of America, that's here. It's coming back even stronger. On Tuesday, I need you to vote. In my state, we say vote early and vote often. All right, and the only way to do that legally is to get your friends to go with you. And I want you to get out and vote. This is a critical time for our country. This is a choice about what America is going to be. What does this land represent? Are we just another place with a flag? Or are we a place that stands for freedom? And I believe this is a land that will continue to be the shining city on the hill, as Ronald Reagan spoke of it time and again, because of the greatness of the American people. But the choice is yours and your friends. Let's make it happen on Tuesday, and then on November 6th, we got America to take back. Thank you so much.